Chapter 15. Earning Our Way. On the way to the Waste Mart, we stopped by a park where there was a small pond. I cupped my hands, gulped down some water, and then refilled our plastic bottle. Amma would never let us drink water that wasn't boiled, but we didn't have a choice. I stretched my aching arms and rinsed off my slippers. They were unrecognizably dirty, and so was my skirt, even though I hiked it up while I worked. You and Cootie watched as the boys carefully separated our rubbish into piles: cardboard, metal, plastic, glass. Ruku wants to help, you told them. No, I said. You would cut your hand on a rusty tin. Ruku wants to help, you insisted. Ruku wants to help. If you don't mind, Arul said, why don't we let her help? You're joking, I said, though he sounded serious. Don't you ever let her do what she wants, he said. You stalked over to Arul. Vijay, you've got to stop bossing her. How dare you call me bossy? Arul softened his tone, but not his words. You're acting like you own Ruku. Muthu calls me boss, but I don't boss him around all the time. His words pierced me like needles. Vijay, I'm sorry. I know you're trying to protect your sister, but I bet she can do more than you think. Okay, I finally said. Let Ruku help. But if she slices her hand in half... You get to slice my hand in half? Arul grinned. I get to slice your hands into tiny little pieces. Agreed. So Arul showed you how to separate and sort the trash. As I watched you stacking pieces of cardboard and humming joyfully, the realization stabbed me that even I expected too little of you. When you were done, your eyes shone. Good work, you said to yourself. He clapped you on the back. That's right, you're the best helper. Best. You glanced at me, fierce with pride. Even though I liked seeing you feel happy and valued, my stomach gave a tiny lurch as you and Arul smiled at each other. Until now, it had just been the two of us. I jabbed the earth with my stick, ashamed of the twinge of jealousy. Arul deserved your affection too. After all, he'd seen something in you that I hadn't bothered to notice. What else had I, who'd known and loved you so long, missed, that he'd discovered knowing you after only a week? That's too much, I said, when Arul handed me half of what we earned that day. I only collected about a quarter of what you two did. If I was too ill to collect anything tomorrow, what would you do? Arul said. I'd share everything we had, I said. So whatever money we earn belongs to all of us equally, right? Arul said. That's how it's been with me and Muthu, and that's how we like it. Right, boss, Muthu said. You want to stick with us? You play by our rules. I felt too trembly to say thanks. A good kind of trembly, not weak and fearful like when we were at home. The rupee notes we'd earned were crumbled up and dirty. One of them was torn off at the corner. Another had a brown smudge running across Mahatma Gandhi's face, but they looked beautiful to me. Disgusting though the work had been, we finally had money all our own. Our money. I rubbed the notes between my fingers as though they were fine silk. If we'd been rich, I'd have held on to them forever, just so I'd remember the feeling of the freedom they gave me. We haggled with the handcart vendor for 2 big bunches of bananas, one ready to eat, the other still green, so it would ripen in a day or 2. Then we stopped by a shack where brightly colored sweets were packed tight in glass jars, and you chose your favorite color, green. What would you like for dinner? Arul asked. Your first earnings, so you get to choose. Ruku's probably happy with just fruit and sweets, I said, but I'd like some biryani. As we approached a street vendor whose spicy food was making my mouth water, a passerby in a faded sari wrinkled her nose and pulled her sari across her face. With the shock, I realized that by climbing the Himalayas, we'd probably sunk lower in everyone's eyes than we'd been before. As much biryani as we can have, I said. Handed over our cash to the vendor. My hand trembled. Did we look too scruffy to be served? Luckily, the vendor was kind and even tossed a dry roti to Cootie. But as I gratefully took the warm package of food from him, he did ask us to get going. Please don't hang around here. You'll drive away customers. You and the boys hurried back to the park with Cootie, but my feet dragged. Could we ever recover enough to clean ourselves up and go to school? Or was that dream as impossible as pretending the trash dump was a treasure trove? What are you waiting for, Akka? The food's getting cold, Muthu said as he settled down on a bench to eat. Arul's done praying. I slowly rolled the spicy yellow mixture of rice and vegetables and meat into little balls with my fingers and licked the sauce off my hands. You happily sucked on your sweet. Cootie scarfed up a bit of food that fell through Muthu's fingers. Dusk was falling by the time we returned to our bridge, and I was glad. The darkness hid the dirt stains on my clothes from view.